so much for giving me this opportunity. In fact, I'm highly indebted to Asian Confluence for providing such an opportunity to share some of my thoughts on development of Northeastern Indian region. It's special reference to Indo-Japan Collaboration for connectivity, commerce, culture, and conservation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about the development. Yes, we know there are so many parameters or dimensions or the indicators for the development. So what could be the areas where we are to focus on? That is one we are to make it very clear. So for instance, about the infrastructural facilities, about the livelihood support so that the living standard and the consumption pattern and the per capita income of the people residing in these regions be improved. And also we have to sit with all these things to happen, a radical change, which some sort of interventions may be required. And for that matter, we can see about the connectivity between India and Japan, and with special reference to Northeast, what could be the developmental things to happen. So these are the issues we can just sit with. And in fact, since morning, we have heard so much of deliberations from different angles. So I won't just repeat it, but it's a very, very enlightening to hear many dimensions from the connectivity, the physical connectivity, the road, Indian trilateral highway projects coming up and its impediment, whatever the developmental things happening. However, we are quite optimistic for any of the developmental things to happen in this part of the country and the globe. We are to go for some sort of a change, and this collaboration through various other means could be the change agents to happen for the developmental things to come up in this part of the region. So for that, I just would like to be very precise. Yes, connectivity, people to people connectivity is one part. You have a physical, the air connectivity, maritime connectivity, and the roads. Road, of course, from Japan to this one. We have a plan, Tokyo to Turkey as Asian highway #1, passing through all these Asian countries, and More Tamu is the gateway of India to ASEAN, that is the Myanmar. And the other border points are also coming up for connectivity to ASEAN, because India is actively engaged with BIMSTEC nations, ASEAN nations, etc. So that is one part. But to be very precise, we just would like to have some sort of a policy intervention and initiatives. And for that, I definitely would like to focus on, as some of the panelists also have said, about the skill development of the youths. One of the resources which we can harness from the northern region. You can see the various resources, agriculture, allied, tourism, the bamboo, and etc. That's one part. But out of which this human resource is another important resources northern region is having today, because with the youths, we have quite a good number of youths who can speak English very well, and that's why the abilities need to be enhanced. Nothing like that. They can work in Japan or any part of the globe or Southeast Asia, and they can bring back foreign exchanges. This is what Kerala is doing, the external remittances. So that's why that is one we can just sit with for the developmental things to happen. So taking care of all these things, what I just would like to focus is about the harnessing of the resources. So what are the resources we can just harness? That is about the sports potential, tourism, sports, golf course can be just established so that at least we can attract some people to come in as a part of the tourism. Then we have a music, we have a talented people in music, films, and some sort of this one, art and culture too. So that is a good potential we have. So in order to have this kind of things to happen, my contention over here is that, sir, some provinces of Japan be identified, and the Northeast, we can just develop point to point, these connections. That is a sister concerns. province to province, state to state, and then within that ambit, we can identify the areas of collaborations we can just go for. So for instance, within that state to state, any of the investment for the commerce things to happen, what could be the MSMEs and what are the areas of potentials they have, and we can just sit to it. Then for people to people connectivity and sharing of more culture and understanding, university to university. We can identify a few universities in Japan and a few universities in the northern region. In fact, all the northern states are having one central university at least, and a few institutions of national importance, just like IITs or IIMs, and all the states are having, Assam is having two central universities and some other central institutions. Manipur is also having Manipur Central University, Central University of Agriculture, like that. So we can just develop a peering. What could be the strengths they are having? What are the strengths these universities in this NER is having? Then they can develop joint research, faculty to faculty exchange program, students exchange program, joint degrees, and also doing some sort of a joint venture for any of the new knowledge creation and employment generation. And for that, I definitely would like to encourage all the northern states should have one Japanese, cultural centers. That means Japanese language learning is becoming an inevitable component for bringing closer ties between India and Japan, especially with the northern region. Because when we speak language, it not only speaks the message, but it contains the cultural affinity. We can make more closer by understanding the language. That is one point. So that's why this is one aspect we just would like to see to it. Even in our university, we have recently opened up diploma in Japanese language. That's why we need to get more attention from the Japanese embassy. At least we may be able to run degree courses and postgraduate courses, so that by learning this Japanese language, they may be able to do more research, more understanding, the cultural bondings can be established. And otherwise too, they can get some sort of employment avenues to the Japanese firms. We know we have so much of Japanese companies operating in India. So that is the one part. Also, we would like to draw some attention. Northeastern part of India is becoming the gateway of India to Southeast Asia. And India is engaging its policy. And for that matter, the global dynamics happening. Vietnam is becoming a global manufacturing hub, and Thailand is coming up. So can we think of linking the global value chain through Northeast India and India's flagship programs like Make in India, Atmanirbhar program, Skill Development India, whatever, that can be closely linked through Northeast. And Northeast should be part of the global value chain. In fact, Japan is having their own manufacturing plant of Toyota in Thailand. And from Moree to this Mysore, that is the border town of Thailand and Myanmar, is hardly 1,700 kilometers. And if we have a good connectivity, the portion from Moree Tamu sector to Kalimu, 69 bridges to be constructed by the Indian side. It is, of course, I'm hopeful it is going to be implemented well, but it has been unduly delayed. The road has been diverted to Yaji and etc., etc. And in the next few years down the line, if it is constructed, then we will be having an all-weather road. But the width is so small. That's why in future we cannot fly big lorries, and we cannot think of having this one good supply chain and warehousing things for the international trade and commerce to happen with the northern part of India. But we are hopeful northeast part should have a good access to the international market, bordering with Bangladesh, bordering with Bhutan, bordering with Myanmar, and also beyond the CLMB countries. So that's why in future, the entire resources the North is having should be harnessed well, and it can contribute for the self-reliant economy of the nation and the radical transformation of this region. And for that matter, we just would like to propose, if possible, some of the special economic zones related to food processing, related to bamboo technology, as some of the panelists have also just identified. We can also just identify it for jewelries. We have a talented people on jewelries, etc. Then IT-enabled services, and also some of the other, this one, and MSME sectors. So that's why even for the forest products that we can see about the timber, value addition of the teak woods, supplying this furniture across the globe, nothing like that. That's why the economic activities can be enhanced better. So that's why at least we need some sort of a special investment from the Japanese companies or agencies, or for that matter, any other responsible stakeholders, to come up some sort of a employment generation opportunities, not necessarily for the high-end manufacturing things, but at least some ancillaries and relevant to the locally available resources as a raw material, or the locally available youths and their engagement fruitfully for employment generation. That way, the economic activities be enhanced. And once again, I just would like to focus some sort of a universities or institutions be established with a skill development focus, so their skill sets can be made available across the globe. So that way, if we do it with the, this one, imparting of Japanese language, plus some sort of a domain knowledge, technical educations, etc., then they can be fitted anywhere in the globe. This is how we can make good transformation of the economy in the region. And for that, I definitely would like to draw kind attention from the Japanese counterparts. At least we can think of making these things happen in this part of the region. We know we have a young people, we have so much a good number of youths who can be employed gainfully, provided if we train them in the right direction. So these are a few opportunities I see to it, and that's why maybe the technology for various other kind, and in terms of green technology, in terms of preservation, in terms of storage, in terms of transport, and all these things can come up in due course of time. And of course, let's identify some areas in education sector, in the healthcare, in tourism, or in the IT-enabled services. That way, peer formation from Japanese counterpart to this region is very much needed. Only then we can expedite. Otherwise, we can talk in general, and then we are not just focusing, and then it is just like beating in the bush. So that's why let's identify Shillong can just tie up with which city of Japan and which university. And like Imbal or this Guwahati, or for that matter, Itanagar in the Northeast, which city can be identified in Japan and can work together. So if that is the case, I believe in the next few years down the line, we may be able to come up some concrete and fruitful results for the true collaboration Indo-Japan, maybe having and benefits may percolate down to different sections of the society. These are a few basic points I just would like to share for the first round. Thank you. Thank you, sir.